Stealth games have been referred to as a thinking person's action game, but developer IO Interactive designed a stealth game that, while suffering from some easy-to-notice flaws here and there, boasts some of the most distinguished and well-honed level design in any game of its kind. IO Interactive made its mark on the video game world with the first Hitman game in 2000 and now has seen 8 mainline entries and 2 unique mobile phone spin-off titles. It's Mr.CanIplay, and today we'll be ranking Hitman games from the worst to the best. Now subscribe to my channel, like my videos, and let me know what you think of this list in the comments. At number 10 is Hitman Codename 47. Now Codename 47 is the first game in the series that literally laid the groundwork for what will become a great series using several mechanics like using disguises, the concealed sniper rifle, and the need for stealth. Just like the new titles, the game rewards the most cost-effective methods to complete the mission and gives penalties for killing civilians or getting spotted by witnesses. Unfortunately, many of these mechanics feel antiquated by modern standards, making the game feel unpolished, and it was never released on any other platform aside from the PC. But all in all, I think it was great, especially as a beginning for the series. Now number 9 is Hitman Absolution. Now this one introduced a lot of new gameplay mechanics and features like instinct mode and online contracts. This game had a lot of pressure to deliver, especially because it came out after Blood Money, which is a fan favorite, and after a 6-year wait, you can only imagine the amount of pressure IO Interactive must have had to bring in a worthy successor. Now 47 feels more connected to the environment rather than skating about on it, and successfully sneaking up on a target with your signature fiber wire is no longer frustrating. It's more organic and a lot less stiff. Now Absolution looks really good. It's darker and grittier than past titles. The levels are nicely dressed and the cutscenes are well produced. Up next is Hitman Contracts. Now this one was released in 2004 for the PlayStation 2, Xbox, and PC. Now Contracts gave players a chance to catch up with the first game's events without the need to actually play the first game. Now Contracts featured many retold, reworked missions from the original game, retold through the memories of a mortally injured Agent 47. As usual, IO Interactive remained focused on what it does extremely well, which is to design fantastically elaborate levels, giving players countless ways to beat a level, and the rest was all about enhancement. There are new weapons like syringes, shovels, meat hooks, and even pillows, giving you new ways to kill, especially with regard to close combat, and also the whole game is in this dark, disturbingly moody haze, giving gamers a distinct look at the seedier side of life. Up next is Hitman 2 Silent Assassin. Now this game gave an authentic sandbox experience that became the standard for the series going forward. Now where the first game in the series felt like a rough draft or probably an experimentation of ideas, this sequel polished everything for it to become the series that we do love today. Now using disguises and hiding in plain sight played a big part in being as stealthy as possible. Additionally, Hitman 2 had a variety of ways to eliminate targets and achieve the silent assassin goal, like poisoning drinks, setting up traps, or even sniping from a distance. Now this game has 2 types of gameplays. One is to simply run in and use an aggressive approach, which kind of spoils the game, especially if you are about stealth, and the other way is to get rewarded by being the assassin Agent 47 is meant to be. Up next is Hitman Blood Money. Now this is my favorite. This is the 4th entry in the series and is often celebrated by many. Hitman Blood Money features the most compelling story in the series and is told through interview segments between a journalist and the former head of FBI. Now the sandbox level design was more flexible than its sequel, Absolution. The story is more intriguing because it finds Agent 47 being hunted down by a rival organization and also a hit, while following the narrative that traces Agent 47's work. The most dramatic changes in Blood Money, however, doesn't revolve around the story, but Hitman's actions and the system around those actions, like additional accessibility for better controls. Now this made performing simpler acts like opening the door or picking up a briefcase less painful. In addition, enemy AI saw significant improvements and the newly introduced notoriety system added to the tense atmosphere. Coming up next, Hitman 2016, which is a reboot for the entire series and a sequel to Hitman Absolution. Now this game returned to its root with non-linear sandboxes filled with content and replay value that it rivals most single-player games. Now the game was launched as episodic content, which felt a bit weird for me, but surprisingly worked really well, given the scale of each level, and this allowed players to explore and do everything on offer. Now this is a game about the interaction between 2 things. One, 47's mechanical toolset, and the next, the environment state in which he finds himself in. Now 47 can crouch, take cover, vault over low objects, and even see a short distance through walls to identify the movements of his targets. Now the beauty of this game is you can play for many hours, but then see a friend try a mission and they'll do something totally different. For example, it might be a route you had never considered, or even an interaction with a guard you didn't know was possible. Now in this way, the game unfolds like a puzzle box, and just when you think, come on, I'm finished unfolding it, it reveals something new. At number 3 is Hitman 2, which came out in 2018. Now this is the second game in the rebooted franchise and follows directly from the events of the last game. Now this time IO Interactive ditched this episodic nature in favor of a full game, something which I do love. And the levels are just as large as the first game, but more refined and better detailed than ever. Now Hitman 2's sandboxes are as full of gadgets and disguises as ever, giving you a ton of room for experimentation, because it is genuinely impossible to see and do everything a mission offers in one playthrough. Now like any good stealth game, Hitman 2 doesn't just ask for your patience, it literally demands it. The slightest failure can completely ruin your entire mission. At number 2 is Hitman 3, which was the final chapter in the World of Assassination trilogy. Now Hitman 3 is arguably the best Hitman game of all time. The third title is a far more cinematic game than its predecessor and an epic finale to an already amazing library of Hitman games. Agent 47's unique brand of slow-paced stealth in an assortment of dense, deadly and deeply varied murder playgrounds has reached a wonderful crescendo in Hitman 3. Now over the years, of course, IO has gotten really good at designing the many small stealth challenges that litter its levels. For example, the placement of guards, improvised weapons, blind corners, security cameras, and places to hide bodies is often pitch perfect. Now there are countless tiny satisfying moments in these levels where you are given just enough to cleverly outfox the AI and use the environment to your advantage. Now despite the weaker levels, Hitman 3 is a sensational stealth game. Now the top of my list is Hitman World of Assassination. Now thanks to the update that was released in January 2023, the Hitman trilogy was repackaged as Hitman World of Assassination. This version makes it easier for fans to access all 3 games without activating season passes for legacy content. Now along with rebranding, it includes the new freelancer mode, which is roguelike, placing Agent 47 in a series of randomized missions and targets. Now completing hits and side objectives rewards players with Mercer points, which can be used to purchase better equipment and weapons. Unfortunately, failing in these missions will result in Agent 47 losing half of his Mercer points, and continued failure will end the freelancer campaign, meaning you have to start all over again. Now as you complete contracts and campaigns, your mastery of the mod will level up, granting you access to more of the hideout with more things to do inside. For example, you can unlock a shooting range to practice, or an office, or any other thing. Now Hitman World of Assassination takes what was already an incredible trilogy and makes it even better by removing a lot of barrier to entry and adding in a new mode that may provide the best and purest gameplay of the entire series. Now with that, we come to an end of my list. Let me know in the comments what you think and perhaps which Hitman game deserves a better spot and which one doesn't belong here. Thank you for watching.